How are you all doing this evening? Welcome to Karen's Chronicles on another beautiful night. I'm in my office. It's really cold. I came downstairs with no socks. My mom would be so disappointed because she must tell us every time we're at our house or hers to wear shoes. But I had to come and share some thoughts today with you all. So I hope you all had a great day. It is Tuesday, long weekend. If you look at the post that I posted yesterday for MLK Day, I hope that resonated with you. A day on, not a day off. I have been thinking about what this season is for a lot of us that are in the working world. It is often appraisal time or when you review your work for the year, whether it's a fiscal year or a calendar year. Typically in January, you are or have already had a conversation with your supervisor or someone in your leadership chain about how you did for that particular time frame. And in my world, that season has passed, but we are now in the season of providing that feedback. Today's video is about how do you know when you're ready for a promotion? And depending on the line of work you're in, you will go through various stages of growth. You could be an intern, entry-level employee. You could be in a variety of stages and progress to the next stage, whether it's a grade or whether it's a salary update. I remember when I worked for Amazon, they had us in levels. I was a level 6, aspiring to be a level 7. I left the company before I got there, but every organization describes it differently. So let's answer the question, how do you know? When you started your job, you were hopefully given a set of requirements. You were hopefully told that this is your job, these are the expectations. You applied to a position, you understood the roles and responsibilities. And once you were acculturated, meaning they brought you in, they provided you the information, all of the things you needed to know to have a good onboarding experience and acclimate to the culture, acculturate to that environment. Part of that literature or information should have been what your duties are in your role, and hopefully a progression of what the duties are in the next step for you. Here's where some folks get a little confused. They start the job and then in 6 months they want to know, well, what's next? And I think that that's premature depending on your performance. So word to the wise, this is Karen's viewpoint of the world. But you know when you are ready for a promotion, when you have successfully met and exceeded the requirements, met and or succeeded the requirements in the level above, not the level that you are. That's a misnomer. Some folks think, hey, I've done everything you've asked me to do. I've done it and I've done it well. I am killing it. I am working, delivering, getting results. I have a good name, good reputation. People are lining up to work with me. I'm being facetious. But let's just say that you're killing it. You're doing wonderful things in your organization. You are recognized, you are seen, you're heard, all the things. If you're only doing that at the level at which you were hired, good for you. Doesn't mean you're ready for a promotion. When you are able to demonstrate that you can perform at the next level, the requirements for the level above you or levels above you, that's a good indicator that you're ready, because you are proving that you can deliver, that you understand the organization and you understand it at the level above. I hope that for those of you that are early careers, that someone has sat down and explained this to you. If not, this is where you might want to take notes. If you do not, as you are watching this, understand the progression in your career for your organization, for your discipline, for your competency, I need you to immediately tomorrow, go to your supervisor. You may even find this information in HR and ask, what's next? Schedule a meeting and say, I don't know what is next for me. You may have provided me that information. Can we talk about where you see my next progression, and actually listen to the feedback that your supervisor has to say? That's presuming that he or she knows. And you may also aspire to raise up in the ranks in your organization in another department, in another area, in another competency. And you will need to find out what those requirements are, because they may be different and they may actually extend further and take you more time to accomplish that goal. So understand the requirements, not at your current level, but the level above or levels above and adjacent, depending on where you want to go. Thing two, I mentioned having a conversation with your supervisor. So let's just say the answer is yes. I believe I, Karen, have met and exceeded the requirements for the job above my station. If you believe that, I encourage you to obtain feedback from not just your peer group. Be careful who you ask this in your peer group. It needs to be someone you trust, and someone who could be objective, and someone who you will accept honest truth from. A mentor, and particularly someone that has observed you do the work, i.e. your supervisor, team lead. Ask them, have you observed this behavior? And you don't have to pull out the next steps and see, this is what it says at the next level. Have you observed these? I wouldn't be that direct. What I recommend is pulling out, if let's say there are 7 or 8, pull out 5, because you won't necessarily hit them all, or you may. In your superstar status, you may actually check the box on everything. Kudos to you if you do. If not, pull out, let's say 8, pull out 5 of the 8 and say, and just articulate what it is that the requirements are, and give an example of where you think you've met it, or where you think you have exceeded, and ask your supervisor, immediate supervisor, someone in that chain, your project manager, your team lead, if they agree. And then listen to the feedback. No good, notice I said good, in my humble opinion, no good supervisor is going to sell you some wolf tickets. In layman's terms, they shouldn't lie to you. If they really believe that you have met and exceeded that role, then they should tell you. If they think that you have met and exceeded it as it's written, but in reality, this is where these unwritten rules come in. What they really mean, like the people that are making the decisions, what they really want to see is this, plus something else, then hopefully you will be informed about that too. That's why it's good to talk to your immediate, your leadership chain, people that have assigned you work, a team lead, and folks that have been on a team where you have delivered that skill, that thing, whatever it is. And then last but not least, collect the feedback, and collect it from enough people so that you're not just collecting it from one source. You want to do what some people consider 360 feedback. You want to talk to the right people, not just your friends, not just people that are in your crew, not people that are going to agree with you. Yeah, you met this by my standards. You really need someone at a level above, or levels adjacent or above where you are trying to go, to be able to assess your readiness. And then once you do that, start hatching your plan, because this is where you're going to see where you may have fallen short and where you are and what you need to improve upon. I think all too many times we are given a lot of different advice about how to progress in your career. And I have no idea what organization you're in. I don't know what your company culture is. I don't know what field you're in. So I'm just going to say now, it depends. It is different depending on where you work. I'm a technical person, So in technical fields, there are different standards. And sometimes those standards change depending on who's in leadership. So what I'm describing is not complex, but it does require some runtime. So if you've been in a position for a year or more than a year, and you have a supervisor or a leader that has provided you feedback about your performance, and you have not had a conversation about what the next step is, and if they see you in that position or if they give you options, I think it is fair to have the conversation. You can have them separately of, can you tell me what are the next steps for someone in my position, in my competency, and just focus on that. And you can also have a conversation that says, I've been here for 3 months, 6 months, a year. I would have this conversation probably more to the 6 months to the year and say, this is where I think I am. I am looking at the requirements in my current position and I believe I've met them. I now want to start obtaining and shooting for the requirements above my station so that I can, be challenged. Here is sage wisdom. If you're not meeting and exceeding where you are, make sure you have that covered first. The conversation about the station above, if it's for information only, so that you have it and that you know what it is, by all means obtain it so that you can have that as your North Star. But if you haven't met the job requirements, the basic requirements, notice I didn't say exceed. If you haven't met the job requirements that you have now, please don't have that conversation. Wait until you can pass your own smell test, your own sniff test to say, yeah, I think that I've done that. And I'll add this one for good measure. Don't just look at what's written. We talked about unwritten rules. Look at yourself holistically. Do you come to work on time? Do you contribute in meetings? When you are assigned the tasks, are your deliverables late or are they on time? Do people work well with you? Look at not just what you've done, but how you do it, and be honest with yourself. I, in my career, have met some real delusional people. I've also met people that have coworkers that gaslight them, that make them appear to be more advanced than they really are. And I have had coworkers who swing the pendulum to the other end that are really rock stars, but aren't really given the room to run. They're kind of contained and kept in a box and only given, projects or things to do in inches, so they really can't see the full spectrum of what they're capable of. What I want you to do is make sure that you're honest with yourself, that you have the information, and that you can pull all of that together and have an honest conversation with yourself first, and then with your leadership. I think I'll do another video on that trust thing, because trust is a big thing in human connection and in human relationships, let alone at our work environment. So when I say someone you can trust, depending on your experience with your supervisors and your leadership, that may mean different things. So I think I'm going to break that down, but I'm not going to do it tonight. I hope that those 3 points and a little bit of nuance in how you show up has helped you. And let's have that conversation. So it's January. It is still National Mentorship Month. If you have a mentor, have that conversation with your mentor, because I suspect that they're more familiar with your work environment and your culture, and share some of the points that I made and let me know what he or she says, because I love to know how you proceed. Again, we're here to support each other on this journey called life, and part of your life is where you work, and I want to make sure that you're prepared for the next level. I want you to have a wonderful evening. I'm going to touch my screen because I have it turned around, so I'm going to have to use my finger to stop the video. But it's okay. I'm not editing it out. Have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow night. Bye.